Mike the cop. If you were really a good cop, you would spend your time exposing all the bad cops. Okay.
I got you. Yeah, I will defend my brothers. I will defend the weak. I will pursue and fight evil so others may sleep. I am the sheepdog, protecting the night. Wolf hunters unite. Bring it on. It's time to fight.
Are there bad cops out there? Yep. I mean, is this a big shocker that in a profession there are people who don't represent the profession as well as they should or at all? I suppose you could do what I did, which was a quick Google search for police officers arrested in 2017. Here's some examples. California cop arrested 2 days after allegedly assaulting a DUI suspect. Rockland, California, over the weekend, officers who saw a fellow cop acting inappropriately reached out to their superiors. Rather than trying to downplay what the officers said they saw, the higher-ups took the complaint seriously. Double gasp. The police chief reviewed the body cam and dash cam footage and, agreeing with the cops who came to him, kicked the video over to the district attorney for investigation. And Officer Brad Alford of Rockland was arrested this week and charged with assault with a deadly weapon causing great bodily harm, assault under the color of authority, and filing a false police report. Next up, Officer Derek Hahn, age 46, was arrested without incident. FBI Special Agent Arnold Laanui said. Hahn made an initial appearance in federal court in Honolulu Wednesday and was released on a signature bond. Preliminary hearing set for October 31st. Obviously, this is last year. This was a part of a federal corruption case. I don't know all the details. Apparently a corrupt cop, at least enough to be arrested. Innocent until proven guilty. And lastly, well-known Polk County in Polk County, Florida. Sheriff has to expose that one of their own was arrested in a human trafficking ring.
Among the hundreds of faces on the wall,
I'm embarrassed to tell you about this next
one of the sheriff's own sergeants, Luis Diaz. He worked with the agency for 17 years.
He apologized for putting us in that position and immediately resigned from the sheriff's office.
Detectives say Diaz made a deal, $100 for sex.
We are absolutely unequivocally embarrassed, but this is a clear indication everybody's held accountable.
Now, here's an interesting question. Who do you think arrested all those cops? Yeah. Cops.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Now, could I make a YouTube channel completely dedicated to every video mentioning a bad cop, mentioning a cop who had been arrested at some point or disciplined in some way at their job? Sure, I could. Does that accomplish actually engaging in productive conversation and dialogue in ways that give a realistic perception of what law enforcement goes through and how they are, for the most part, on the whole, and humanizes the people who wear the badge so that we see that we have more in common than we do in difference with people who aren't in law enforcement? Nope. Listen, if that's something that you want to do, and this is an answer to all those people who say I never put videos up talking about bad cops, if that's something that you want to do and feel really, really convicted about doing, real driven to do, go make a YouTube channel. Go put on social media. Do whatever it is that you want to do and expose whatever it is that you think you want to expose. I'm not stopping you. But if you're expecting me to do what you think you should do, or you think that I should dedicate my entire life and my own social media and YouTube presence to do what you think I should do, that's a little unfair, don't you think? Does that mean I'm afraid of addressing the topic? No, it doesn't. It just means that I have set out a focus for my social media content, particularly on YouTube, and I have a variety of styles of videos that I do, but the end game is still the same. I want to have a topic that interests me, that I think people will find interesting when they're watching it, and where education can meet entertainment and enjoyment at the same time. And it's an interesting mix that I'm still learning how to do myself. Moving on. Now listen, this next part might sting a little bit, especially if you're one of the trolls who are trying to feed under my bridge. Sounds kind of weird. Yet if you have any common sense, I think this will make sense, and you're going to have to admit I'm probably not that far off. For those of you who would spend your time and energies, particularly comment energies, on saying that all good cops, if you're really a good cop, you would spend all of your time exposing bad cops, you're really just exposing how narrow and weak-minded you are. Why? Well, quite simply because You're basically living your life under the auspices that if I don't know about it, if I don't know that a cop has been arrested, then it didn't happen. If the media isn't feeding me all the information that I think they should, then clearly that can't be a reality anywhere in the world because I don't know about it yet. And that's childish and naive and ignorant. If you want to see more about it, look it up just like I did. Just a quick Google search. And not only has there been video content on my channel about this, but I have personally known officers who have been identified, charged, arrested, suspended, all of those things, fired, all of those things in my own career. Now, just because you don't know that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And just because I don't spend videos telling you all about that doesn't mean it didn't happen. To make the assumption that just because I haven't made a video telling you about all of my experiences with anyone that's ever done anything wrong in life as a cop doesn't mean that I'm a bad cop. It just means you're dumb. So troll away, continue to try to find nourishment under this YouTube bridge in the comments. It's entertaining. To recap that first part of the video then, just because I don't spend all of my energies and creativity talking about bad cops doesn't make me a bad cop. It doesn't make any cop on social media a bad cop just because they're not spending all of their energies the way that you think that they should. The whole notion is actually rather absurd that to really be a good cop, you have to spend your time always exposing bad cops. It's asinine. No, seriously. Think about it. Do you go to the doctor? Do you think that you've only been treated well at the doctor's office if they provide a list of all the doctors they went to medical school with that didn't get good grades or that have been sued for malpractice or have done some things that are shady? Do you watch the doctor's show on TV even? Do you think that it's only a good episode of TV if they spend the whole episode talking about doctors they don't like or think are bad? Do your kids go to school? When's the last time you told your kid, son or daughter or non-binary, if you were really a good student, you'd come home every day and tell mom and dad, or whatever parental unit term you want, all about the bad students? Better yet, how about teachers? Do you think that your child or children only have a good teacher if at parent-teacher conferences they sit down and talk about all the other bad teachers in the school district that they've ever experienced? Or would you rather them just talk about you and your student and their performance? Oh, hey, before you get your car fixed, would you expect that you roll into the garage and they just talk for a while about all the other bad mechanics that they've known in town? Or do you want them to actually see if they can diagnose your problem and fix it for you and do a good job? How about fishing? You like that hobby? You want to go on the old YouTube and look up fishing videos and learn how to maybe catch that next walleye a little bit faster, a little bit better? Would you say that they only have a good fishing channel if most of their videos are exposing fishermen who have kept fish they should have thrown back or who aren't good at catching fish, or bad fishermen? Do you think when you go to the grocery store that your cashier is only as good as many of other bad cashiers as they expose to you while they're bagging your groceries? How about a real estate agent? Are you in the market for a house? Would you think that you have a great agent if what they did, instead of going to show you houses and trying to find the house that you want to move into, that they took you around town and showed you all the houses that agents that weren't that good ended up selling or did some shady paperwork on to get inside deals? Here's a good one. You want to go to a restaurant. Of course, it can't just be good because it serves good food. It would only be good, of course, if the head chef comes out and tells you about all of the mistakes that the other chefs at other restaurants have made that he's aware of, or other chefs before him, the mistakes that they had made, or the stuff that they had done to food that was, not very chef-like.
Where's the lamb sauce? Where's the lamb sauce?
Oh, firefighters. Is a firefighter good if he can put out a fire and make videos if he wanted to be on social media and talk about good firefighting tactics? Or is he only good if he talks about the firefighters that are bad at holding hose and squirting water?
Hey, go save a kitten in a tree, you fucking homo.
Yeah. Yes, I'm trying to prove a point for effect that it's a dumb idea to think that just because a profession has bad people in it means that the entire profession should be viewed bad or be painted in bad lights, or that we would expect that the only way to be good in that profession is to focus on the bad. The issue isn't whether or not there are bad cops out there. There are. Why? Because we don't live in a world of perfection. We live in a world where man has a proclivity to make bad choices. And whatever job it is, whatever profession you hold, just like you, we we don't want bad cops tarnishing our name. Does it happen? Sure. But should an entire profession or a group of people be judged by their worst example? Even though people may perceive it that way, it's just not fair, objective, or honestly, an accurate picture. Because you know who has to deal with the fallout of that in the police world? Good cops. People can point out extreme examples. If you go on Netflix and look at, I think the documentary is called The 7-5. It's about Mike the cop, not to be confused with me. He was blatantly a dirty cop, admittedly a dirty cop, and he was convicted and did time, and now he's out, making documentaries and doing whatever. Maybe he learned his lesson, maybe he didn't. I don't know if he's truly ashamed of what he did or not. But those are extreme examples of corruption. And what happened in the end? He was arrested and charged and sent to prison. So what's the point when other cops will ultimately expose them and charge them and see justice done? The point you're trying to make isn't getting proven. Enough of that. A lot of people have been saying, how come you don't talk about bad cops more? It happens in the comments a lot where people are saying, if you were really a good cop, you'd expose it. Okay, so here I am exposing the dirty secret. That is completely common sense, that there are bad cops out there. Going on the record that says, I don't like them and I don't want them around. And they get weeded out pretty quickly because good cops don't want to deal with that crap. That leaves us with a few unanswered questions, of course, which is, well, what makes a good cop then? Upcoming video. And what makes a cop bad? How common is it? And actually, how are they dealt with? How are they identified? How are they weeded out? And what happens to them? So I'm going to talk about both of those questions in upcoming videos. So stick around. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Share a video, please, if you would. If you find my content something that you enjoy, share it around. And make sure you hit that notification bell. That way, when these next videos come out and when future videos come out, you're the first to know. Later.